Hello and welcome to Graceful Connections presented by Academy for the Soul. I'm your host, Sophie Bidar, and the co-creator of Graceful Connections together with Christel Hughes, founder of the Academy for the Soul, the online school for intuitive arts. Thank you for joining today, and whether you are on the live call or on the replay, thank you for bringing your beautiful presence, the contribution of your unique vibration within the orb of grace. And today we're together for live intuitive readings galore with Amanda Hopkins. First, let's begin with creating our sacred space. So I invite you to relax and take a few deep breaths. Breathing out all that does not belong to this moment. Let's bring all of your attention and your presence here and now. We set our intention that our time together, all that is shared in words and beyond the words, all the energies that we call in and flow serve our highest good, our evolution, and be of service to the highest good of all. I invite you to open your heart, or open it even more, and be ready to receive. And to open your mind, or open it even more, and be ready to receive. Activating your connection to the new earth crystalline grid, and your connection to galactic center, the center of truth. So that you are held, both grounded and suspended. You are safe, relaxed, and ready, and open to receive. Now I'm calling the orb of grace from the heart of the universe. And placing the orb of grace around our group, our gathering, each and every one of us. That we be held in the orb of grace and infused with grace all along our time together. Let's take a moment to adjust to the purity and the subtle high frequency of grace, allowing it to gracefully dissolve, realign, harmonize, amplify, magnify all that needs to be so, in purest alignment with divine will and the divine order of grace. And breathe. Beautiful. Now within our sacred space of the Orb of Grace, I'm delighted to welcome again our brilliant expert, Amanda Hopkins. She's your graceful guide to convert trails of trauma choking life out of your cells into avenues of divine light infusing your tissues. It's so wonderful to have you with us again today, Amanda. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So excited to get some personal clarity today. And, not just for those who we're doing readings for, but, as you're listening in, really connecting in and recognizing what resonates. So this is going to be really, really powerful in identifying and recognizing those deeply entrenched trauma tracks that are depleting energy flow in the body. So I can't wait to dive in and get started.
Yes, and I mentioned being with Amanda again because we've had a really fascinating video meetup together with Amanda a couple of days ago. So if you missed it, you'll want to be sure to catch up. You have the link on your webcast and on your replay page. And Amanda shared amazing insights, really revelations, I would say, about trauma trails and how, when properly addressed, which means going to the root cause, as Amanda systematically does, they offer a path to freedom and to full divine body illumination. So you'll want to be sure to listen to this. And today, yes, we're getting personal in the discovery of your number one trauma trail in your body, suffocating your cells. So to request your reading, to come on the line with Amanda, press *2 on your phone or click raise hand on the webcast, or you can place your request in the Q&A box on the web. The question to ask for your reading is, what's the number one trauma trail in my body suffocating my cells? So while you do that, raise your hand, put your request in the Q&A. Before we get started, Amanda, would you tell us a bit about the significance and the importance of these readings? What is it exactly that you're going to reveal with your readings, and how does that help us?
Right. So, we all, our bodies, we have these beautiful, brilliant light grids that we are meant to be operating from, that really allow us to cultivate and call forth celestial light frequencies, the divine light, that deep connection that allows us to be sustained, nurtured, nourished, and supported. And what happens is we navigate this journey of life, we get, different experiences that we have, traumatic ordeals, or it can be really big and significant, or even something small, like a little cut on a finger. But as we have these different experiences, we start to build in energetic responses. And they are energetic responses that slow down our energy flow. And it can be a point in time when we have a traumatic event or ordeal, a point in time that gets anchored deep within the body system and creates a stagnancy, starts to create around that space where that point exists, deficient energy flow to that area of the body. And when these start to stack, or if we have a really traumatic event that has a very deep impression, it starts to create tracks. So it's not just one point. Now there's multiple points strung together, creating a deep groove or a deep track in the energy field. And all along that track, we get deficient energy flow, or as light comes in and tries to move through these sacred grids that we do have as that innate capacity to flow light and energy for our bodies, that energy gets distorted, refracted, scattered, creating different states of confusion and indecision and all sorts of distrust in self. And so when we identify the trauma tracks that are in place and the trauma points, and we recognize where that is in the body, what's being impacted, that's one of the things I'm going to be sharing, where in the body and what's being impacted, where that trauma track was created, because some of these trauma tracks that we hold were created in this lifetime, but they may have been carried over from another lifetime. Or we might have adopted a projection from our familial timeline. So we want to identify where was this trauma track created, so that then you have the information you need to go in and remove that trauma track and restore that sacred light flow. I mean, the brilliant light flow that really is that innate flow can carry you to heights beyond what you can even imagine, and you can actually really feel that in the body. And so that's really what we want to identify here, is what's preventing you from actually bringing the light in and through the body, so that you can keep your energy in your body, that you can feel energized, feel strong, feel healthy, feel vital, not just from a space of survival, but really from a thriving excitement and joy and being super enthused for this journey of life in this body, right? Really cultivating your body's capacity to be effective and be strong and be available for you, so that you can really trust it. So, as we identify these trauma tracks today, we really are setting that stage for opening up to a strong foundation of light in the body that really serves vitality, health, and bringing miracles to life within.
Yeah, well, we want that. So let's identify these trauma tracks and let's get started. Thank you for this clarity, Amanda. Let's get started with the readings. It's wonderful that there are so many requests. So thank you everyone for your interest. We'll do our best to get everyone served. Let's set this intention. And for that purpose, you're welcome to make yours a reading that's offered to someone else if it touches you, if it resonates with you, if it triggers you as well. If it gives you the chills or a knowing, then that's for you as well, for sure. In that way, everyone is going to be served today. And I want to let you know that there will be a special announcement towards the end of our time together. So make sure to stay all along to make the best of this opportunity we have with Amanda. With that, let's get started. We're gonna go with live callers, then go to the Q&A. We'll go back and forth. First live caller in Utah, Lisa. I'm unmuting you. Hello.
Good morning to both of you, and thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome, Lisa. Hello.
Hi. What is my number one trauma trail in my body?
Yeah, I'm being drawn to the abdominal area between your lungs and diaphragm. In that space between the ribs, I see what looks like a track that's running across between the ribs and then curving down towards the diaphragm. And what I'm hearing is that it's like a holding of the breath, right? There's this sense of feeling like I have to be still. I have to be quiet. I can't move. If I'm moving, then I'm vulnerable. I could be susceptible to attack or being harmed or hurt. So there's a sense of feeling like I have to be still and I can't move. Now, where I see that having been created is 24 past lives ago for you. So there's that sense of kind of wanting to blend in the background is what I'm being shown in that lifetime. Blend in the background, not be seen. Being seen means getting attention. Now I'm going to be yelled at or hurt in some way. So that's the deeper dynamic that we want to shift. Where I see that impacting you in the body is not just in that space where it's like you're really going to want to pay attention, Lisa, to if you have times where you're holding your breath and not realizing it. I know that was a habit that I used to have, and I've created a habit to break that, but just really start to notice throughout the day if there are times when you hold your breath, like, you catch yourself holding your breath and you're like, wait, why am I not breathing? Right. And that might come in the form of making sure you're scheduling in check-ins, to do some deep breathing exercises or something like that. But you're going to want to shift this dynamic. You're going to want to clear out that pervasive fear of not being seen, because that's what's creating that tightening in tension and will kind of feed that habit. I also see that really impacting the ankles and the lower legs. There's a stillness, almost like they're rooted in place, that's associated with this dynamic. So as you're doing clearing, you're going to want to do clearing in the legs, and then also in the back head space. There's like an energy that's pulling backwards, like pulling you back, like, wait, don't move forward yet. So all of that tied together with that trauma track. Okay? So I want to have you shifting all of that.
Perfect. This makes perfect sense. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Lisa. Blessings. Stay with us. You're going to hear all about how to take care of this a bit later in the call. So next we're going to Annapolis, Maryland, 0204. Unmuting you now. Hello.
Hi, it's Kathy. How are you?
Hi, Kathy. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. What's the number one trauma trail, Amanda, in my body?
Yeah. So for you, going from behind the ears, left ear to right ear, I see a track that's running in that back head space. And what I'm hearing is there is a deep, intense fear of shouting it out and getting it wrong. That's how it's coming in, is the wording. And so when I trace that back to the origin point, I'm getting 18 past lives ago. And what I see is that there was, in that lifetime, you were conditioned to being valued for being still and being quiet. Being still and being quiet was what was praised and wanted and desired. And so there's that sense of holding back, that band that's running behind the ears. There's a holding back, even a holding back of the information coming in through those clairaudient channels. to prevent you from speaking out or saying out or feeling like you have to share something, so that you can hold back. So there's that tendency in the body to want to hold back and not shout out what wants to come through you or express out what wants to come through you. So it's not just the speaking, it's also the energy emanating out, that there's a fear of letting the fullness of that out, the truth of that. So there's a sense of having to contort or conform your energy to please others that's associated with this, that's embedded in that trauma track. I see a lot of energy around the stomach and power center in relation to this that's being stuffed or held in that space. And also a pressure in the chest of feeling like almost a sense of like I'm going to explode with this energy that I want to share, but I have to hold it in. So there's this real strong desire to want to get it out, but there's that holding back of not wanting to do that. So there's a lot of pressure that I see sitting in that chest and belly area in association with this that you're going to want to shift as well.
Well, I hope I signed up for your class, so I hope we can clear all this.
Yep. You're going to want to write it down and bring it with you to the workshop, okay?
Okay.
That's the point.
Well,
Yes. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, you're in the right place. Thank you. I love how your clairvoyance kicks in, Amanda. It's like we're right there with you. You give us the vision of what's going on there.
Awesome.
So wonderful. Yeah. So next, going to Swindon with Tanya. I'm unmuting you, Tanya. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome. Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you? Welcome. Do you want a reading from Amanda?
Yes, please, Amanda. It would be really nice.
Yeah, so for you, I see the track running from the base of the throat down to just above the belly button, like a line running right down the front there, all the way through that front chest down to the belly button. And what I'm hearing is that with this, there's like a sense of being split in two between who do I have to be and who do I really want to be. And there's a feeling of I have to choose. The origin of that, the creation of that I see is 11 past lives ago. And the perception is that in order to be loved, I have to be who I'm expected to be, or I have to be who they want me to be. In that lifetime, I'm getting as mom and dad. In this lifetime, maybe, it's an intimate partner or mom and dad, or maybe you don't even consciously have someone in mind, but there still is that internal rift of like feeling like, okay, in some situations I can be who I want to be. In some situations I can be who I have to be. And what I see with that is there's a retraction back. There's an energy pulling back of not wanting to engage with others, not wanting to engage with life, because there's a feeling of I can't just be who I want to be. So there's a pullback energy that's with this that I see pulling on the back spine and kind of pulling you back out of things that you would really enjoy or that would serve you or that would take you to a whole new expansive level. So we want to have you clearing that energy out and shifting that dynamic. What I see is in that lifetime, like a harsh kind of jarring energy coming in that front space where I'm seeing that bar, that track. Coming in and kind of like pushing you back. It's like you going into being the fullness of you and then feeling like that wasn't received and feeling like a pushback. So it's more energetic. It was not, like an energetic pushback on that. So a lot of energy in the throat, like an energy punching in is what I'm seeing there in conjunction with this and suppressing that expression out. But I also see tightening around the back hips and hooking into the side of the hips associated with this paradigm as well.
Yes, you are spot on. It's true. I have even pain on the front side. Yeah.
Yeah, so we want, so that's something that we can shift in the workshop. Also, if you really, for you, that the live group energy lab is scanning even higher, that's where we can really, that energy in the hip area where I'm seeing that's where we can really set that stronger foundation for you in the light and just have you release the fullness of that hold back or that internal, having to choose between two things that you really want. So that energy lab is what's scanning highest for you.
So option one, the full package, ideally for you, Tanya. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Is it possible to have a session with Amanda?
Well, the Energy Lab, you will get one-on-one support, so that's what you would want to choose.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Yes, thank you, Tanya. Thank you. Blessings. All right. Going to Schomburg with Andrea. I'm unmuting you, Andrea. Hello.
Hello, Amanda and Sophie. What's
Good
the number
morning.
one?
Yes.
Good morning. What's the number one trauma trail in my body, suffocating myself?
Yeah, for you, I'm getting across the back, just upper back, right at the base of the neck, right along the shoulders, in that area, and then up the sides of the neck. So it's not going all the way out. It's in the center there, like at the base of the neck, up the sides of the neck. There's what looks like a U brace that I'm seeing there as that trauma track. And what I'm hearing is that there's a sense of not feeling stable. And like I have to hold my head up and I have to hold myself up and I have to have this other energy in there to help facilitate that. Now, where I see that originating for you is 38 past lives ago. And in that lifetime, I see this punching energy coming in at you that is associated with the sense of you're weak and like knocking you down. Like that's the perception that it was precipitating for you, this energy coming at you. So that's that traumatic impact of that energy that has you creating this track in that neck that would help stabilize you, keeping your head up, right? Being able to keep your head on your shoulders and look forward. There's an avoidance of wanting to look back at that energy because it's so painful. This is very common with the trauma tracks of not wanting to look within, not wanting to look back, not wanting to look at it because of the pain that's commonly associated with that. So I also see a bracing, similar U-type brace, but it's more horizontal, running around the lower back. So just, lower back running just beneath the navel there. So I see a bracing there as well associated with this. So there's actually 2 trauma tracks that are associated with this in the body. So we want to have you shifting that dynamic and opening up to the true strength of you, the pure strength of you. That's what will open up once you release those.
Wow. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Amanda. Which option, the full package for Andrea? Which ones can have full package or workshop?
Yep, the full one with the Energy Lab. And a big reason for that is these trauma tracks, like what I'm seeing with Andrea where she has those stabilizers, what that does is that starts, and the avoidance of looking into the trauma, that creates this dissociation with the body, right? We start to bring the energy out of the body so that we're not coming into the pain. That's the perception. And that is one of the main things that we're going to be shifting in that Energy Lab, one-on-one, is that primary dissociation with the body. When we don't have the energy able to settle into the body, we lose so much capacity to have the resources that we really want coming in, and definitely to illuminate that light grid. So that dissolving that primary dissociation with the body is huge. And even when that is shifted, that allows us to bring the light in, which can more fully help to dissolve additional trauma tracks or trauma points that we may be holding in the body.
Okay. So listen to full package for you, Andrea. Thank you. Okay, with the Energy Lab. Yeah, such a perfect way to get personal attention and resolution in the group setting. So next, going to Ottawa, Ontario, 0447. I'm unmuting you. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, welcome. What is your name, please?
Wonderful. It's Wilma. I was cheeky enough to submit my question on the web page and put in parenthesis, and can we clear it now? But I got knocked off the web page, so that's why I phoned back in and raised my hand. So I'm so happy that I actually got to speak to you.
Great to have you here. Yes.
Yeah, so Wilma, for you, what I'm seeing is I'm actually seeing 3 main trauma points that had a track running along them. So one in the back middle, right in the back middle of the head, one in the back middle solar plexus area right behind the navel, and then one in the back tailbone, so those 3 points are like anchored, plugged in, pinned in, and there's a thick energetic track running behind those, attached to those. And what I'm hearing with this trauma track is that this is about being knocked off course. I'm seeing 58 past lives ago for you, where it's like you were thrown down, thrown off center, like you had something you wanted to do, and someone came in and was like, no, you can't do it. What are you thinking? Like just knocked the wind out of your sails. And it felt like knocking you off track, like pushing you off to the side. So I'm getting an echo.
Yes, I'm going to mute you. I'm going to mute you, Wilma.
I was going to say that is very interesting, because I thought you were going to tell me it was from this life, because I've had so much physical, emotional, and mental trauma for decades. So that's why I'm surprised that you're saying it. I'm not surprised when you're saying it's the back of the head, solar plexus, and tailbone. That I'm not surprised about, but I'm just surprised that it's not this lifetime. Interesting. I'll shut up now. You can mute me. Thanks.
So this lifetime we experience traumas that reflect what we are holding in our energy field. So it's not shocking to me at all that you would be experiencing things that relate to this in this lifetime, even though the origins in a past lifetime. Our body reveals to us what we need to shift from any lifetime, this lifetime, past lifetimes. So that doesn't surprise me to hear you say that, Wilma. But yeah, that's what we want to have you shifting, is that sense of feeling like I'm knocked off center, I'm knocked off track, and clearing those trauma points in those spaces that I mentioned, and the sense of feeling like I have to fortify or strengthen myself to try to stay on track. When you are centered in the light of your truth, and we bring those radiant energetic grids online, then you can remain centered in that truth. You don't have to build in some sorts of sense of false certainty. And we talked about that in the video meetup. So if you didn't watch that, go back and watch that. But when we can bring those light grids online, which is what we are doing in the energy lab and workshop, then you have that sense of strength, and you can easily let these energetics go that have you trying to stabilize your neck, like we saw with Andrea, or stabilize the back like we're seeing with you, Wilma. Okay?
Yeah. I'm muted, Wilma, because there was interference. But I find interesting that Wilma, as she came in, said that she got kicked off or knocked off the page, I think. So it totally echoes your reading, and I see how it confirms that what's going on in this lifetime, including right now, is a result, as you said, Amanda, of what happened in the past, and that's why for complete resolution, you want to go all the way to the root cause, whether it's in this lifetime or past life or genealogical, and that's how you get the real results. So wonderful for you, Wilma. Thank you. Blessings to you. I'm glad we got you on the line. Okay, next we are going to Belgium with Anna. I'm unmuting you, Anna. Let me get hold of you. Hold on. Here you are.
Hello, good evening.
Hello. Welcome,
Hi.
Anna.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So Anna, for you, I'm being drawn to the lower abdomen. And what I'm seeing is a track that's running just above the pubis bone, up the front, and all like kind of curving around out to the left hip, and then up a little bit onto the left side of the abdomen there, outside the navel. And what I'm hearing this track is all about is there's a sense of feeling inadequate, and as if like having to route your energy in a certain way so as to be received. So I'm going to explain that. I'm being drawn to 39 past lives ago, and in that lifetime, what it looks like is that the bigness, the fullness, the big energy of you was not well received, right? It was like, ooh, tone down, quiet down. It's too much. And so now that track got created to reroute that energy, right? So that it's not so big, so that it's not too much. So what that did is that created this sense of inadequacy that is tied into that track. So we've got the need to shut down the big energy, but then on top of that, the result is that sense of feeling inadequate, like I'm not measuring up, that I'm not enough. So these two are tangled up together in that trauma track, two sort of paradigms that we want to have you dissolving that are traced in that. I also see that toning down the energy that wants to come through the heart and the pineal gland. So it's wherever, we have so many light energy centers in the body where we can bring big energy through. And so there's a level of muting of that. What I see is that there are times when it will grow really big, and then there are times when you slow it down or kind of fade it back, if you will. And what I'm hearing from higher self is that really it's just time for you to let it shine big and bright. And if people want to receive it, great. And if they don't, then that's their choice. But for you, it's like, let's bring you online. Let's just let you shine brightly. And so we want to have you shift that trauma track and bring that light in and allow that to infuse you and guide you and direct you and be you for you.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Amanda.
Yeah, you're welcome. Amanda, which package option scans highest for Anna? How do we get this?
Option 1 with the energy lab is scanning higher.
Okay, full package for you, Anna. So stay with us to discover all about this a bit later on. Thank you, Anna. Blessings.
Thank
all
you.
Right. Yeah, you're welcome. We'll come back to more live callers. For now, let's go in the Q&A. Many requests in the Q&A. Thank you so much. We're going to go first to Blaine, Minnesota with Amanda, from Amanda to Amanda. And Amanda writes, I have zero energy and I'm always feeling drained. I've been trying to exercise, but some days having to walk up and down the stairs in my home is too much already. So what is the number one trauma trail for Amanda?
Yeah, and so where I'm being drawn is to the foundation, the whole pelvic girdle, pelvic floor, that whole area. So as the iliacus muscles, the foundation. There is it's what looks like a black hole is what I was first being shown there, like the energy is just siphoning out, right, like an energetic siphon. And the trail that I see is like a tail running from the tailbone back behind like a tether. And what I'm hearing is it's not safe out there. It's not safe out there. So there's a sense of having to stay where you are, stay stagnant, stay still. And so think about when we don't have energy, then we tend to stay at home, stay close to home, in an environment where it feels safer for us, right? Where we're not having to go out there and be exposed to new things where we might not know what's going to happen. So our bodies will adjust to help us have a reason to remain in the conditions or situations that we think are what we want or what are going to keep us safe. And that's what I see happening in part for you, Amanda. So where I see this tether in the back that's running from that tailbone and tethering back behind you, I see it tethering back behind. It breaks into two and behind the left and right foot, pinning into the ground like behind you. Where I see this having originated, this track, 27 past lives ago. And what I'm hearing is that it was actually a learned belief system from mom and dad in that lifetime, both parents, like telling you it's not safe out there, you can't go out there, you can't be free. And part of that was their fear of losing you. So it's not just the fear of it not being safe out there, but there's also a perception in the heart that I'm seeing associated with this that is a fear of losing love if I venture too far out or if I go too far forward. So you're going to want to shift that in conjunction with this trauma track. And that's
wow.
That one I would definitely recommend doing the energy lab so that we can make sure all the areas are fully released.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. That's very profound. And we really need to identify what's really going on there, like this fear of losing love. That's something, it goes really deep, deep, deep down. So, okay, wonderful. Thank you, Amanda, both of you. Blessings. Okay, next we're going to Belmont with Irina. So for Irina, what's the number one trauma trail?
Yeah, for Irina, I'm seeing from right shoulder diagonally across to left hip, running across the back, and then a trauma point that's plugging in right in the back power center. And what I'm hearing is that there's a sense of obligation and responsibility to others that's deeply entrenched, and it has Irina neglecting and denying what she needs and wants. And so I see that having originated 45 past lives ago, where it was, I see a whipping, like a whipping. If you didn't do for the community, if you didn't do for others, there was punishment. And so not just her, but also, you know, like she received and witnessed as well, others being punished. And there, I see tied with that too is that if I don't do what I'm told, people I care about are going to be punished. So that's another dynamic that was deeply entrenched in this track that's running across the back there. That track serves as a reminder of I need to be paying attention to what others are thinking that I'm responsible for or obligated to do and fulfill on that, so that I won't be hurt and that the people I care about won't be hurt. That is really, it's tying down. It's not allowing for the light of truth to come in and inform what am I meant to bring through. Right? And that's what we're really all being called into right now. But Irina, especially for you, there's a big shift wanting to occur where you're recognizing the best way I can be of service to anybody is by allowing the greatest flow of my light to come through. And so in order to do that, we need to shift that trauma track in the back and bring that energy back into the body. So again, the energy lab, so we can make sure that we, in conjunction with shifting that trauma track, we are dissolving that primary dissociation from the body and bringing your energy back into the body more fully.
Okay, great. So full package of option one for you, Irina, and we'll go to the discovery of the special offer in a moment. Let's do a few more readings. Going to Ireland in Kilkenny with Eleanor. What's the number one trauma trail for Eleanor?
Eleanor, I'm going to your jaw and neck. So I see a track that's running from the back of the neck, right at the top back of the neck, down around the jaw, and then down the front of the neck in the center. And then wrapping around even to the width of the neck, even the front, just all the way out to the sides of the neck. And so with that whole trauma trail and track that I see there and structure, what I'm hearing is that this was created 47 past lives ago, and there was a lockdown of the words that are coming in is, who do you think you are? Like, who do you think you are to speak out? Or who do you think you are to know it all or to be the authority? There's a real diminishing of speaking truth and speaking intelligence, right? Even a diminishing of your power and capacity to share light and truth. It was not received. It was not wanted. And so that created this trauma track that then creates this shutdown dynamic in that vocal expression, right? And even the expression of the emotions through the face, right? Like what I'm seeing with that energy around the jaw is that it's like, I'm going to reveal nothing, right? Like I'm not even going to allow my face to betray me and express what I'm thinking. You know how like sometimes you see people and you can see exactly what they're thinking by the expression on their face? Like it's like the stoic, like shut the face down so the face can't even express that. So that's the trauma track that I'm seeing. I also see that creating a lockdown in the front power center, right? There's a shielding there, like I'm not going to let anybody see the power or light there, but also there's a sense of that power and light that I hold it's really not strong or it's really not powerful enough to overcome these perceptions of others. So you want to shift that in conjunction with clearing that trauma trail.
Okay. Is this energy lab work?
Yeah, the energy lab is scanning high. And that's largely going to be the case because these are so deeply entrenched. When we go into the energy lab for Eleanor, what I'm seeing is it's really about resetting and recalibrating and bringing online that supracellular consciousness template. Like your being wants to reconnect with that high truth of you and not stifle or shut that down. And that's where the real juice is. That actually is what feeds vitality in our body, is by having the light of our truth move through us. So that's what I see for you, Eleanor, is that your being really desires to bring that template online, and that's another piece of what we're doing in the energy lab.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, we can see through the readings that each one's location and what's going on is so personal, so very unique and individual that really making the best of this opportunity to work with you in the energy lab, that's really the ideal solution. So, okay, thank you, Eleanor. Blessing to you. Let's go to South Africa in Langebaan with Carol. What's the number one trauma trail for Carol?
Yeah, for Carol, I'm seeing what looks like a ring, a trail around the heart. And that tracking actually around the heart, and then there's a trail that's running and snaking down the back spine from that. So there's a circle around the heart, then it extends out from behind and down the spine to the mid-lower back and in the lumbar region there. And what I'm hearing about this is that there's a sense of needing to contain in energy. It's like I have a limited amount of energy and I have to preserve as much of it as I can within me because I'm not going to get the love that I want outside of me, or like there's this sense of I'm not going to have the love and the support that I want and need, so I have to make sure that I hold on to what I can get in me, right? That's why there's the connection to the lower back. That's all about support and not feeling supported. So we really want to look at that perception of limited resources, right? And that sense of feeling like I have to operate based on what little I can take in. That I see having been created 59 past lives ago. And as I'm tuning into that, what I'm seeing is that there was a sense of like, I have to go out and work hard and gather things up, and then I have to give it all away, right? There was this expectation that I'm going to go out and gather food and bring all this stuff back to the community, and then I just have to give it to the people who most need it. And I don't get to keep for myself, right? So meanwhile, others aren't working so hard and they're reaping the benefits, right? So it's like there's that sense of feeling like that's what I have to do now. That's what's creating that holding that in. There's also
sacrifice. Would you say that it's sacrifice?
Yeah, sacrifice for sure. And what I was going to say is that there's even guilt, like there's a sense of guilt and shame around feeling like I don't want to do this. I don't want to work hard, and I don't want to give away what I've earned and what I've gathered. So clear that too, right? Because it's okay to feel like, no, I went out and did the work. I need to take what I brought through, right? You can let yourself, part of that whole idea of feeling like, no, I went and got this, is that there's a deeper recognition when we can bring that to light that if I'm bringing light through my body and Sophie's bringing light through her body, right, and you're bringing light through your body, what happens is that's your unique light. So if I try to give, for example, if I try to give Sophie my light, that I can share and I can help amplify, but if she can source her own light, that's far more powerful.
Yes.
So it makes more sense for her to learn how to cultivate and bring the light through her own body. That is going to serve her far more than if she's always having to come to me to get to source her light. Does that make sense, Sophie?
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's this whole thing, learning to fish or giving or gifting the fish, right? That's the whole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, so that's what we want. We want to have you releasing any guilt or shame and let you and allow you to come into that space. Again, this is part of what we're doing in the energy lab of bringing that light through your body and letting yourself receive. It's in the receiving that you actually have more you can give. So letting yourself open up, bring that light through your body, bring those powerful templates online and awaken within you that clarity, that light, and that truth in the body that allows you to know exactly how do I show up for whatever's in front of me as a situation or a need that needs to be met.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Carol. Blessings to you. Okay. Let's go to Australia with Katrina. So Katrina has a number of issues that result in not feeling that she's in her body. And what's the number one trauma trail for Katrina?
Yeah, Katrina, so the number one trail that I'm seeing is running across the front collarbone, right along the collarbone, all the way out to the shoulders. And a bar of energy that's running across there. And what I see, it's like that range of motion there. It's like that stiff movement. Like imagine if you're moving side to side, but you've got a stiff bar sitting there. Like in order to move, you can't turn really effectively, right? Because you've got this bar here. So it's like to turn, you have to turn your whole body, right? So there's this real limited range of motion. What I'm hearing is that slow and steady. I have to be slow and steady. Otherwise, I'm going to hurt myself. This is from a past life. It's 19 past lives ago. And what I see is there was some sort of accident in that lifetime that had you being very cautious. Like I can't feel free to move freely. I might slip, I might fall, I might hurt myself. So there's an avoidance that's going on with this in place. There's an avoidance of getting hurt. There's an avoidance of wanting to feel pain. But that presupposes and that projects out that, if I'm free-flowing and moving and going, I'm going to have an accident or I'm going to get hurt or I'm going to have pain. So there's all these projections, worries, anxieties that are being sent out from the front mind. Like I see, right in the front forehead, it's like I see all these scenarios, these images showing up as I'm talking, of like what could possibly happen. So there's so much energy tied up into this avoidance. So the energy is staying up in the mind, right? And up in that upper body and not actually funneling into the body in an attempt to avoid a situation that might be harmful or hurtful. So we've got to start there. That's where we've got to start, shift that energy. And then again, we want to bring those light templates online in your body so your body can feel what it feels like to have the light energy activated. When your body feels that, it is going to do whatever it takes to help increase and facilitate that staying online. You're going to be drawn to the guidance, the actions that allow that to deepen within you because it feels so good.
Yeah, and it so makes sense that the avoidance translates into avoiding being in the body. It's pretty literal expression. Yes. The body expresses sometimes in a more let's say twisted way, or you have to decode it. But sometimes it is just so literal that the body speaks what's going on. So that's what's going on for you, Katrina. So I suppose Energy Lab will be ideal for Katrina, right?
Yeah. Yes, we want to bring that super cellular consciousness template online for sure.
Yeah, okay, and support you too. Yeah, anchor in your body and enjoy being there. Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Katrina. Blessings. Let's go to Richardson, Texas with Michelle. What's the number one trauma trail for Michelle?
Yeah, so Michelle, for you, I'm seeing a trail that's running just behind the eyes. And what I'm being shown is that there was horror that was witnessed. I'm getting 13 past lives ago. And the horror was more of seeing a betrayal. And I mean, like this is showing up so clearly. Witnessing a betrayal that it was so heartbreaking for you in that lifetime. I hear that it has to do with mom and dad. And it's more of like telling something that shouldn't have been told. And so this betrayal, this sense of it's like this rift in the heart of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did that. Like an actual pain in the heart, like a squeezing of the heart is what I'm being shown. And so what that translates to as this trauma track in the eyes is that there's a sense of, ooh, I don't know if I want to see. You know, I don't know if I want to have that vision open and see, because it hit so hard. Like it felt, the seeing what was going on felt like pain in the heart, right? So there's an association there that we have to dissolve and shift as you clear that trauma of seeing that deep betrayal, seeing that deep sense of not being loving in that moment. So we want to clear the eyes, we want to clear the heart, and really, again, we're looking at the disassociation. We're looking at that kind of standing back, like I see your energy sitting back behind the body, kind of looking ahead and going, do I want to come into the body or do I want to stay back? Do I want to actually open my eyes to see? And there's a lot of kind of turning away or turning to the side and not wanting to see. What that does is that limits your vision of what could be possible, right? It limits you from actually seeing the more expansive possibilities of what your soul's calling forward for you is beauty as well as pain, right? It shuts it all down. So it's not discriminating whether it's bad or not, you know, and even with the judgments, sometimes what we see isn't always what it seems, right? There's different elements at play. So we really want to have you shifting that so that you can open up to the vision of what your soul wants to bring forward for you. And part of that is feeling safe in the body once again, feeling like if there is an energy that comes through the body, I can handle it. And so to do that, we really, you know, that's a big piece of strengthening that foundation of the iliopsoas, but also of, again, bringing the light into the body and shifting the innervation of the vagus nerve so that you're not in that fear-based anxiety of, oh gosh, what's going to happen and how can I avoid it? So energy lab.
Energy lab, here we go. Okay, thank you, Michelle. Blessings. Well, I think now is a good time to discover this energy lab and the workshop. So we'll come back for more readings, of course, but let's discover what you've created, a wonderful offering, body tissue transcendence. So we'd love to hear all about it. For everyone to follow, you can go to gracefulconnections.com/Amanda3 or just scroll down the page to discover Amanda's offer. If you're on the replay, if you're on the webcast, you have a button and a link. Just click there to access the page. And Amanda, please reveal what you have created for our audience.
Yeah, so, you know, I do want to invite, because I went into really good detail about this in the video meetup. So if you've not watched that, I went really into depth with this, so I'm just going to kind of quickly run through what's included here. So we've got the live energy group lab that I talked about. So within that lab, you're going to be in a small group. You'll get one-on-one support from me to identify, talked about the dissociation with the body. What's preventing you from having your energy fully in your body, right? What's that trauma ordeal that's not allowing your energy to fully anchor in your body? That's where you're going to get the most power. That's where we can bring those sacred light templates online. So we're going to dissolve the dissociation. We are going to recondition your vagus nerve, right? We want to have your body relaxed and operating from that capacity to accurately respond to your environment, not to be responding from fear-based patterns or anxiety-based patterns or worry-based patterns, right, that are running in the mind or that are based on past experiences. So we're going to recondition your vagus nerve so you can relax in your body and really be calibrating what's truly happening within and around me and how does my body need to respond and show up for that in the way that most serves me. So we're going to do those two pieces. And then the third piece is upgrading the muscle of your soul. So I talked about that as well. That's where we're going to look at the iliopsoas, those deep muscles that really are the foundation of strength. for bringing light through the body. In order to handle the high levels of light that we want to bring through, we have to feel strong and capable of receiving. And that really happens through the iliopsoas, where we feel strong in the foundation of our being. So we're going to disintegrate the number one constriction that's immobilizing that compound muscle there, and really upgrade that muscle of the soul so that you can house and hold and sustain ever increasing levels of light that want to move through your body for you. So those are the main one-on-one pieces we're going to do there. We're going to be also really working in group to bring in the upgrades and restore your supracellular consciousness. So as we release these constrictions and confinements, we're bringing your light energy, your soul light grid online that awakens the supracellular consciousness. So that's the elevated consciousness, the pure consciousness of your soul awakened in your body, right? At the level of your body, because when you bring that supracellular consciousness template online, what happens is that attunes the cells of your body to receive the expansive celestial light energies that can come in through the aura, that can come up through the soles of your feet, really connecting you into the greater, more expansive energies that are beyond even what our minds have conceptually probably ever even considered, and allow those to be awake and aware within our body to create greater levels of expression and potentials awakening in the body. So really exciting, the possibilities that come with that. So that's what we're doing in the live group energy lab. So that in and of itself is quite comprehensive. Before we get there, though, we want to do some groundwork. We want to do the body tissue trauma releasing work. So this is where we're going deep into different parts of the body. You can see what some of those different parts are there on the offer page. And we're going to be really going into and identifying specific types of trauma, excavating them, clearing them out completely, and opening you up to receiving the light in. As I mentioned, when you release these different types of trauma and you release from certain specific areas of the body, it allows the light to come on within your body, and you feel the essence of that, and it feels so good, and you feel so much lighter. Then your body's like, okay, how do I hold on to this? How do I retain this? How do I condition myself to be that light body? And your body starts to work that at those subtle levels, so you don't have to work so hard to figure it out, right? So it's like in training your body to the vibrations that you want to live within, but we are releasing all of the trauma pieces that prevent that as we go through this. And so, with that, we are doing the myofascial reinnervation, which really, the fascia is the glue that holds the body together. And so we've really got to work at that level of resetting the memory. So it's not based on trauma ordeals or trauma experiences that we've had in the past, but rather it's based on the light conditioning of the body. So we're going to do a complete reset of the myofascial system and bringing online the light and energy that allows your spine to realign and come back into the right posture, that allows your hips to feel strong and centered and level, that allows your shoulders to feel balanced, that allows you to move freely, right, without that stiff energy like we saw in some of the readings. So that's what we're doing in the workshop. That in and of itself is also very powerful work. Though that combined with the energy lab is next level, right? That's really taking us into the greater expansive light of self. And then there's also an injury consciousness dissolution guided journey that's going to allow you to first of all, work with any kind of injury that you might have had. You'll go in, you'll identify any scar tissue, do some cleansing, clearing, releasing with that. But also you can use that over and over again to really start to train yourself in a way to recognize where you might be holding scar tissue, where you might be, even something like a paper cut that's like a small little thing. You might be holding a consciousness around that you don't even realize. Right. So it's going to help you start to recognize come into greater awareness of what you're holding in your body and the release of that if it's not something that really serves you. So that's just another piece, another really powerful tool that is part of this journey that you'll have.
One question on this, Amanda. As I hear you, I'm wondering, because there were a few questions in the Q&A about surgery. Could you use the injury consciousness dissolution to apply for surgery? Because it's some kind of an injury, right, of some sort. There is scar, there is a number of parallels that we can make between the two. So would that help also?
Absolutely. So, any kind of tearing, ripping. I mean, an injury doesn't even have to be a physical injury.
Right. Yeah, you mentioned that. It can be an emotional, Yeah,
I mean, it can be like if you get yelled at really loud and it feels like you're being punched by the emotion of that, that's an injury of sorts, right? So this really is about, when we have surgery, you are cut into, you're cut open, right? So going into that, there's definitely scar tissue, energetic scarring, and there's also the energies that lead to that. What led up to the point of needing the surgery in the first place. So, it really helps with identifying and understanding what precipitated the injury and what resulted from it, and dissolving those dynamics in combination.
Yeah, wonderful. So we can use it for so many purposes, and it's a wonderful tool to have, and wonderful. Okay, great. So to wrap up, we have body tissue transcendence. Option 1 is the full package with the energy lab and the live workshop and the replay and the bonus injury consciousness dissolution guided journey. That's option 1. Ideal for everyone, I'm pretty sure, if you can make it. And you have to make it possible for everyone. We are offering 2 and even 3 payment plans so that you can access the ideal option, which is the full package. You also have option 2, which is the workshop, including the workshop and the bonus injury consciousness dissolution guided journey. That's a brand new package from Amanda. It's exclusive for Graceful Connection. So thank you for that, Amanda. And yes, 2 and even 3 payment plan. And to remind you, there will be a special announcement towards the end of our time together today. So stay with us because you'll want to know about it. It's about something that's been mentioned a number of times already during the call. So many of you are going to be interested in this. So let's keep the mystery until then. For now, let's go back to more readings. Let's go to take more live callers. We're going to go to Barbara. Let me unmute you, Barbara. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Yeah. Yes, I would love to know what's the number 1 trauma trail in my body, suffocating my cells, please.
Yeah, I'm seeing a track that's running through stomach and spleen. And I'm
going to mute you, Barbara. Sorry, there's interference on the line. So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. So the stomach and the spleen tend to be worry centers. They're 2 spots where we tend to hold worry, and that's what I'm seeing for you, Barbara, is that this track is running through, the origin of it's 38 past lives ago. And what I'm being shown is there's an underlying sense of not being able to take care of my children, like really specific, right? In that lifetime, not being able to take care of my children. There was a worry about that. And the worry is more about not being able to keep them safe or protect them from experiencing pain or hurt, right? We all have our journeys of life. We're going to experience what we need to experience. And sometimes we experience the pain or the hurt because it awakens within us something that our soul wanted us to come and awaken, right? So what higher self is showing me for you with this trauma track is that the the higher essence that really wants to come in for you is that shift in perspective of opening up to trusting in the divine to serve you in the way it needs to serve you, fostering that internal connection, trusting in divine, whatever children are, whether you have children or not in this lifetime, what is considered your children or the people that you care about, right? It can be even your parents, if that's who you're caring about, but really trusting that they have their own internal sacred connection that's going to serve and hold them, right? So for you, the big thing that really needs to shift in conjunction with this worry or this fear is bringing that divine, deeper divine connection online within your body. When you feel that strongly within yourself, that's what's going to create the trust that others also hold their own unique internal connection, and you can let go of the worry more fully.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you. Blessings to you, Barbara. Sorry, I had to mute you to keep the line clear. Okay. Going to London in England with Lisa. Unmuting you, Lisa. Hello.
Oh, thank you.
Hello.
Thank you. Oh.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Thank you.
Lisa.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you. Sorry, I was muted. What's the number one trauma trail in my body suffocating my cells, please?
Okay, Lisa, for you, I'm seeing a trail that's running from the center of the right foot up through the ankle all the way up to the knee. That's the primary one that I'm seeing, and what I'm hearing is that this is really rooted in keeping you in place, keeping you stuck in place. I actually see it relating to an injury, a past life injury, 12 past lives ago of that leg. Like it was it being casted and having to be immobilized in order to heal. And so there's that memory, and there's still a consciousness and a sense of feeling like, ooh, I have to be careful with that area of the leg. I have to make sure that I'm cautious with it. But I also hear that this is symbolic as well. And same thing in that lifetime. This is symbolic of a sense of when I'm grounded in a certain space, then I know I'm safe and I know I'm not putting myself at risk. If I branch too far out, if I move too far from that kind of confined or casted or cocoon space, then I'm at risk of something bad happen, at risk of losing things that I need or want, vital resources, at risk of fill in the blank. But there's a sense of being at risk, and there's no limit to the imagination of what that risk could potentially be. I see those risks kind of spanning out as streamers from the mind. What could possibly be a risk if I let myself really be freely moving forward. So that's the trauma and the dynamic that we want to have you shifting.
Thank you. And actually, this knee, I chronically get physio and acupuncture on that knee.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, shift that energy and we'll, open that up. And that's definitely going to give you more flexion and freedom and mobility. Not just the knees, but also it runs up the hips and even up the spine. I'm seeing where, there's those connections, and that's so normal. I mean, we've got the fascia that connects all the way up the legs and into the back. And then we've also got, just the whole system of the body, the way it moves and flexes. It's just so fascinating, but it's all interconnected. So, so there you go.
Thank
there
you
go.
so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Blessings. Okay. We are going now to Kodiak, Arkansas. Carolina, unmuting you. Hello. Carolina. We can hear that you're there. Okay, let me mute you. Can you please, Amanda, do the reading for Carolina? She's put in the Q&A as well, so she definitely wants a reading. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm seeing what looks like, those straps that hold glasses on. You put it behind the head, and it's to the back of the glasses. I'm seeing a strap that's running like that behind the head up to just above the ears, above and behind the ears, but then also running as a band around the front of the head. like a headband that you would use to catch sweat, like right on the forehead there. So those are the tracks that I'm seeing that are running. And what I'm hearing is that these are in place as an attempt to try to make sense of things. There's a feeling of like I have to make sense of things. And I'm going back to 24 past lives ago, and what I see is actually there's I'm hearing a witnessing of abuse in that lifetime that didn't make sense. And when the abuse was being witnessed, it's almost as if that abuse was being taken on by Carolina. So like she was experiencing it as if it was happening to her, like very, very, very clairsentient, right? Very, very energetically sensitive. And so what happened was the dialing down of that ability to perceive and feel at that level, because it felt like harm. It felt like an assault to her system in that moment, right? So that's what I see is those bands are meant to soften the impact of what's coming in as that feeling tone, like a buffer, whether it's coming in from behind or coming in from the front. I also see what looks like a band wrapping around the waist just below the belly button, all the way around front to back. That's a similar idea. It's like a buffer that prevents the impact of whatever's coming in to hit hard and impact the core of the body, right? So that she can stay strong in her body. That's what's perceived as needed. But what it's doing is it's not allowing for that greater light of, that beautiful sensitivity actually opens up to experiencing these subtle, really high vibrational light energies that want to come through the body. They can't traverse because that kind of buffering is creating a filter that's not allowing that bigger light energy to come through. And what I'm being shown is that when that light energy that wants to come through is able to come through, that's going to serve as a natural protection. So these buffers aren't needed, right? It's going to naturally filter out those lower level energies on its own. So this is how, in her way, she can actually shift that energy. And so much of that ties into bringing that supercellular consciousness template online that we're doing in the Energy Lab.
Yes, thank you, and thank you, Carolina, because for your own reading, but also for allowing this to be brought up. I believe this is so important for so many that we get to realize that as an empath, and we know that many in the audience are empathic and highly sensitive. As an empath, someone else's trauma can become your trauma, right? And your program, Body Tissue Transcendence, Amanda, addresses this, because yes, if we adopt, so unconsciously obviously, but adopt someone else's trauma as our own, then with the same protocol we can work on this. And as you said, increase our capacity to hold light, which becomes our energetic immune system, right? To become less of a sponge, less at the effect of others' energy and trauma and everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, when we are attuned to our own vibration of light, what we're attuned to, that's what we attract. So yes, we want to, as much as we can, really foster that receptivity through our bodies of our own soul light. And that's what this is all about, the body tissue transcendence. That's what it's all about, is cultivating that soul light frequency in the cells of the body, so that that's what you're operating from.
Absolutely. So everyone who feels empathic or knows themselves to be an empath, this is for you as well. There's I suppose, a big chunk of your own experience and the trauma that you carry and your trauma tracks that are actually those of others, and it's time to let go of that. And as you said, Amanda, what you what you focus on and what you carry is what you experience. So let's stop carrying someone else's trauma and experience trauma, and let's carry light and experience more light. So yeah, I love that this came through. Thank you, Carolina. Okay, we are going to Wellington, Connecticut with Colleen. Unmuting you, Colleen. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome.
Thank you. What is the number one trauma trail in my body suffocating myself?
Yeah, I'm seeing your trail wrap. There's a trauma point that's plugging right into the front center of the chest. And then from there, I see the track is running off to the left side in the front of the body, wrapping around and coming and plugging in, wrapping around the back of the body and coming and plugging into the right hip on the side. And what I'm hearing about this trauma track is that there's a sense of like turning you in the direction so that you don't take the blunt of the blow. And I'm going back to 32 past lives ago. And what I see, it's almost like, if somebody were going to come and try to punch you in the stomach, if you turn a certain way, you can minimize the impact of that punch so that it doesn't hurt you. Well, you do have to be careful because you don't want to get hit like in the kidneys or something, right? But there's certain ways you can turn. Maybe put your arm in front. If you get hit in the arm, it's not going to hurt as bad as if you get hit in the abdomen, right? But that's the idea. Just kind of painting the picture of what I'm being shown. This is what I'm being shown in that past life, is like that turning away. And so when you think about how that track is wrapping around, it's like that track is like turning you in a direction to minimize the blow or the impact of what might come at you from the front on. That plug in the front is, again, protecting the heart from the impact of what might come at you from the front. So this is all about protecting you from the impact of pain coming at you or that punch of that, right? And so this is more of that idea of avoidance, not wanting to feel the pain, not wanting to feel the pressure of that, the suffering of that. And so, I want to just qualify. I'm not saying like, oh, well, just, stand there and take the pain, right? Like that's not what we're saying here. But, what I'm being shown is that as you release that trauma track, what it does is it allows you again to really fill yourself up with the light so that, one, you're not attracting so often or so much the people who are going to want to pack that punch at you, right? Like that becomes less magnetized to you, but also it allows you to be standing so strong in the truth of your light that if somebody does try to send that punch out, or that, if it's an insult or something like that, then it hits that light and that light just fizzles it out. It's like fries it, right? So it's like it doesn't really have any kind of sting once it gets to you. So that's what I'm being shown, just letting you really fill up your body with that light, that in the heart and in the power center and in the hips and in the back, like all just seeing that spinal column wanting to illuminate so that you are really running those high vibrational light energies through you that protect you in that way.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you, Colleen. Blessings. Thank you. Okay. How are you doing, Amanda? Wow, you are so rocking the reading. How are you doing?
Yeah, feeling good. I would love, if it feels like it's time, I'd love to share the surprise.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, definitely. So let's get, you're right, to our special announcement. Before that, I want to remind you, go to gracefulconnections.com/Amanda3 or click the button on the webcast page. If you're on the replay, just scroll down the page to discover all about body tissue transcendence. And let's get into our special announcement. It's the time for the grace of abundance to flow into our gathering. So Amanda is offering a fast action bonus for body tissue transcendence purchased until midnight Pacific on Sunday, March 17th. So what is this fast action bonus, Amanda?
Well, I have to tell you, first of all, I was surprised when so much came through. So this, I always trust in the guidance, and this is what came through as an offering that you will get when you sign up for either the workshop or the energy lab, right? Either option, you are going to get this special added bonus. It is it's a trauma relief personal intuitive reading for your iliopsoas, and there's 3 parts to it. Okay, so the first part that I'm going to be reading for you is the main type of trauma. So there's the 5 different types of trauma that you can look at those on the offer page. But I'm going to be reading for you what the main type of trauma is that you're holding in your iliopsoas that's impairing your mobility, creating tightness in the hips especially, and that inability to move freely forward without hesitation or reservations. And as we're going through the readings, I'm really realizing how significant this is, because we've seen a lot of those trauma tracks really plugging into the hips and or creating some sort of immobility in the body. So we're going to be reading that main type of trauma that's lodged in your iliopsoas. I'm going to read that for you. I'm also going to identify for you the consciousness that's driving that trauma. So what's holding that in place? What do you need to shift? Which, when you release that, will unravel the entire trauma pattern anywhere that it exists in the body. So even though I'm looking in the iliopsoas, I'm also looking where else is this trauma pattern in the body and impacting the body. Where is it in the nervous system and the wiring there? And that way you'll have all that information to bring with you to the workshop to release it. Okay. The third thing that I'm going to be reading for you is where in the body that trauma pattern is having the ripple effects and causing deficient energy flow. So where is that deficient energy flow in the body in association with this? So you're going to have the main point of trauma. We're going to be looking at the consciousness behind the trauma and where that consciousness pattern is in the body, but then also where there's deficient flow associated with that in the body, right? So we're really getting to every space within the body that this is showing up for you, so that there is that full dissolution and release of this entire trauma pattern. I'll also identify, of course, where that was originated, where it created, just like I'm doing with the readings here today for you, so that we're also releasing it on the timeline, so there's no attempt to recreate this trauma pattern in some other strange way in the body, right? So really comprehensive, deep shifting. You'll have everything that you need to know to shift this consciousness. And already, even just in getting this reading, you're going to start to bring the light in through the body, right? The light energy is going to start to flow. And the way that I set up the container when I'm doing these readings is that we're going to start to dissolve the connections that are holding the trauma in place in the moment that you're getting the reading. And in that way, sometimes that's sufficient just pop out and release on their own. But anything that's residual within there that needs to be shifted, you will have the workshop to guide you through those transformations. So I'm really excited that you're going to get readings to help support you shifting this energy, because what I've witnessed is that even in releasing one of these trauma tracks, the exponential light flow that occurs and deeper connection with the body is so profound. And I mentioned this early, but I just want to repeat it, Sophie, because it's so important. When we start to bring that light and energy more fully in the body in that way, that naturally helps to facilitate an organic dissolution of additional traumas that are in the body that aren't a match for that vibrant light flow that's now been made available through the body. So it's really, really powerful.
It is, and I'm so grateful to you for offering this, because it is so perfect. The iliopsoas has come up in a number of our readings today, so many of you have it in your plate, so to speak, through the reading you received today. But also in our meetup, on our video meetup, you really talked in details about how and why the iliopsoas psoas is essential and what's the significance of this. And so whether or not it came through in your own reading, it's essential anyway. So that's really, it is so wonderful, so generous of you to offer this, Amanda. It's a triple reading for everyone who, again, purchases either option 1 or option 2 of Body Tissue Transcendence before midnight Pacific on Sunday, March 17th. So make sure to take action now to receive your personal reading from Amanda. And of course, if you purchased already, you'll receive it as well. And it is very graceful, very generous of you, Amanda.
My pleasure. It's so important. We are being called to these higher levels of light right now. Nobody is exempt. Nobody, right? And so if we aren't aware of these trauma tracks and the trauma points and these deep pockets of density that exist within, then what happens is the light comes in and, so many people have come to me with these bizarre symptoms, like, I've never experienced anything like this before. What is going on? And it's scary because it's like, oh no, is this something super serious, or why is this all of a sudden cropping up? Or, I don't even have a family history with anything like this, or I have no idea what this is all about. So there's all these kind of bizarre, strange symptoms that people are coming to me with. And it's always, every time it's something that's out of the blue, out of the ordinary, or even oftentimes with the chronic issues that people have had trouble releasing, it comes down to these trauma tracks and the trauma points that haven't been effectively fully uprooted. And it's not just the uprooting of the trauma tracks, but it really is the bringing online of the sacred grids of light in the body that help to dissolve those deep points and the connections and allow you to have a different vibrational experience of light in the body that then can become the foundation for your body. So, it's that strategic combination of the light coming through the body and the dissolution of the trauma tracks that make all the difference.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Well, we're in the right place with you, and we have our graceful guide to take us there. So I want to read a couple of things from the Q&A. First, Carolina said she apologized she couldn't get on the line, but she did receive her reading, and she gives you much gratitude, Amanda. So thank you, Carolina. Tanya from Swindon, who got a reading, also asks if the bonus injury consciousness dissolution helps with real scars, because we talked also about the emotional scars, but the answer is definitely yes, right?
Well, here's the thing about the physical body. There's no guarantee that any of the energetic work that we're going to do is going to 100% filter down in the physical body. There's lots of factors involved, right? So I don't make any claims that physically, if you go and do something, it's going to remove a scar. Right. But if you have a scar, it holds a consciousness to it. And if you do not shift the energetic consciousness associated with the scar, that scar is going to remain. It's going to be there. It's going to be that reminder for you of whatever it is you need to receive from
right. But it may be that it no longer bothers you to have the scar, right? That it becomes a non-issue, that it just vanishes, even though it may remain maybe visible to the eye, but it may just disappear from your attention, actually.
Right? When you shift the consciousness that's associated with it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly. You release the attachment to not wanting to have it there.
Right.
And a lot of times that actually causes it to fade, or maybe you just don't see it. You don't put so much emphasis on it. One of the things that's so fascinating about us as humans is that when we go look in the mirror, when we look at our own bodies, we see things, usually we put emphasis on our perceived flaws or what we think is wrong or scars in a way that other people don't even realize. Like they might not even see the scar, or they might not even see whatever we think that flaw is unless we point it out. And so that focus and attention in and of itself can actually make the scar out to be, or flaw, perceived flaw, out to be bigger in a sense. You know, our perception is distorting it. That's what the mind does, distorts. So make it out to be bigger than it really is. Now, if the scar is painful, which that can happen. I had pain in my scar when I had knee surgery as a kid. If it's painful, then of course you're going to want to do the audio and go through and really work with the consciousness of that. Because what that does is it gives you clarity as to A, what needs to be shifted so you can have the energy of that cleared up. But also, when you shift the consciousness, it helps guide you to what are the physical things that are going to serve feeling better. Put it plainly. So, you know, when we are shifting the consciousness of the body, that actually aligns our energy to take the steps that are going to serve our physical body.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for bringing this clarity and for, this perfect answer. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I think everyone, even if you didn't get your own reading, I'm sure that you, maybe most probably get something out of someone else's reading for sure, and that you get a sense of how Amanda can masterfully support you with transcending trauma in your body and awakening your supraconsciousness within. Now, let's take a moment to breathe, to be present once again to the orb of grace. Allowing it to remain there, holding us, holding all that we have received, that we have experienced, we have discovered, all that we are not even yet aware that we have received, allowing it to sink in, to come to our awareness in its own time, as we are held in the orb of grace for as long as it serves our highest good, our evolution, and the highest good of all. Beautiful. I'm closing now by giving gratitude to each and every one of you in the audience. Thank you for answering yes to the calling of grace and the calling of your body to transcend trauma and to light up your supracellular consciousness for illuminated living. Gratitude to you, amazing Amanda Hopkins, for all the wisdom, the brilliance, the offerings you gifted us today through all the graceful connections that have been woven with you and your masterful expertise, the brilliance of your insights. Thank you for your generosity of heart and time and wisdom and readings and all that you're offering exclusively to our audience. It is very precious, very appreciated. Thank you, Amanda.
Absolutely, my pleasure. I am very, very passionate about the body.
Yes, we can sense that, and we love having you as you're our guardian of the body. So thank you, thank you so much, and gratitude to Christel Hughes and the Academy for the Soul for offering this platform in which graceful connections grow and expand, impacting our lives, our environment, and the world at large as we are living our divine radiance. Gratitude to the Orb of Grace for providing a safe, sacred space for this journey of exploration. And gratitude for all the grace we are blessed with at every moment. Whether we're aware of it or not, it's offering all the nourishment, the nurturing, the healing, the revelations, and the realizations that we open our hearts to receive. Gratitude to our higher self, to our bodies, and to all the higher beings who guide, support, and protect us. And gratitude to the divine. Thank you. Until we meet again, many graceful blessings to you all. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, everyone. And goodbye now.
Bye.